Did you know that there's one step of audio processing that many podcasters miss, and it's setting them up for failure? Keep listening to discover this, the second step of the ACME-M method for podcast editing, as well as the tools that I use for this step. What's happening, podcasters? I'm Brian Ensminger with another episode about podcasting. I'm here to help you launch, improve, and sustain your shows. I've been producing podcasts for about 5 years, starting with my own show, which is the Engaging Missions Show, and now also including client shows. But even after I had started editing for other people, I wasn't always happy with the results. I did the work and it was better than when I started, but I wasn't always super happy with the results. And I wanted to do a good job for myself, just because I take a certain amount of pride in what I do, whether it's for my own show or for somebody else's show. I wanted to do a great job just because I take pride in what I do, but also I wanted to be responsible with my clients' shows. I wanted to do a good job for them, to help them grow their audiences. Now, I realized that just having great audio may not make your show grow, because you need great content as well, but I didn't want to do things that would distract from that. And sometimes I just couldn't figure out how to get things dialed in exactly. I knew that there was something that I was missing, and I didn't know exactly what it was. So I knew that I needed to learn more, and I didn't want to waste a bunch of time piecing things together. That's when I decided to invest in podcast engineering school with Chris Curran, and that is where I first discovered this step for podcast production that I was completely missing. I'm going to go ahead and share it with you today. As I was going through the course with Chris Curran, I discovered the second stage of what I'm calling the ACME-M method. I picked up much of this framework from Chris, and then I've made some tweaks. And this second stage, the ACME-M, is conditioning and repairing the audio. Some of the things that you discovered in the first stage, the assessment stage of the ACME-M method, are going to be addressed here. We're going to do things like noise reduction, or perhaps correcting wild variations in loudness, removing clicks and popping P sounds and some stuff right there. We're not going to make cuts to the audio because we don't want things to be separate lengths or different lengths, but we're going to start taking out some of the stuff that we can fix right there. And there are a few tools that I use to do this. A couple of them I'm going to share with you today because they have been incredibly valuable for me and for other podcasters during this stage. And you're likely not going to use your normal editing program here, because it's some pretty specialized work that we're going to do here when we start talking about reducing noise or reducing reverb or removing popping Ps. Some of that you can do within your regular software, but you might need something specialized to do a great job of it. The first one is relatively inexpensive. In fact, you can get some free options online for Auphonic at auphonic.com. This is some software that will help you really quickly correct some common audio problems. And this is great for people on a budget, but it's driven largely by math, which is fine, but there are some things that you may not be able to correct with this. And there are some controls that you can't necessarily control. But if a budget is a concern, this might be a way for you to help precondition your audio by taking advantage of the noise reduction and the high pass filtering and setting the level so that you've got consistent levels between your different pieces of the mix before you ever bring them into your audio editing program. The second one, and man, this is a great piece of software. It's Isotope's RX7. And I'm going to tell you right now, this is an expensive piece of software. This is pro software, but it's incredibly powerful. And it is my go-to tool for audio repair and restoration. I use it for noise reduction. I use it for loudness. I use it to fix things in the mix, to fix clipping and all kinds of audio problems. This piece of software is incredible. I'm sure that there are others out there, but these are the two that I've worked with. And if you are interested in taking advantage of the second stage of the ACME-M method, you're probably going to want to check out one of those. So what happens when you do this? What happens when you take advantage of the second stage of the ACME-M method? Do the clouds part? Do angels sing? Well, not necessarily, but when you get this right, you're going to be starting the next stage of the ACME-M method with a really firm foundation, and we're going to be talking about that one next. Not only that, you'll also start to hear things differently from other people. You may already be aware of this, but there can be what I'll call regular ears, people that listen and they don't always hear a lot of the details. But after you've been podcasting or editing for a while, you begin to develop podcaster ears where you start to hear things differently. You hear details differently. As you do this longer, you also begin to develop editor ears, and you'll begin to quickly identify things that need to be fixed, sometimes before you even start recording. Here's the thing, though. Just knowing that there's a step missing isn't enough. You're going to have to do something about it. You're going to have to decide how you want to address the second stage of the ACME-M method, and you're probably going to have to do the work, and you might even want to get some feedback from others so that you can get outside perspective and continue to grow. If you found this valuable, consider taking your learning a little bit further by attending the Christian Podcasters Summit. We won't be able to focus specifically on your show, but we're going to talk about audio production and a whole bunch of other stuff, including things like email lists and booking guests and media kits and using social media, a whole bunch of stuff right there. I'm working on some bonuses to go with the ticket if you use my affiliate link at toptieraudio.com/summit. My bonuses will be focused on helping you improve the audio quality of your show, some things to download, some videos, some things like that, and maybe even, if you're interested, some options for accountability and some group stuff. I'm still working on that, but if you use my link, I'll make sure that you get everything when it's ready. That's at toptieraudio.com/summit. Or if you would like some one-on-one attention, maybe you want to focus on a specific part of your show or how something could be made better or a particular hurdle that you're facing right now, you can set up a consultation at toptieraudio.com. I'd be glad to talk to you about your show and what we can do to make that better. Thanks again. Now go out there and make a great podcast.